Good morning, Eileen.
Morning.
Are you back from San Diego?
Yeah, since Sunday.
Nice.
Are you the host?
No.
Who's recording it?
I don't know. Somehow I guess I am. I don't know how that happened.
You're doing okay.
Huh?
How are you guys doing?
What am I doing?
Yeah, how are you guys
I
doing?
don't know. We're good. Thanks.
Oh.
Hey, Dan, I don't know why I'm recording this.
It
how I
automatically
did it.
records as soon as somebody logs in.
Oh,
It keeps us from losing recordings.
oh.
Good morning, Jason. How's school?
It's going. It's his style is not what I like, but I'm going to get through this and be licensed by next month.
That is awesome.
I plan on it.
That is awesome.
Yeah, that's my goal. Did you get a hold of those
I
other
called
two?
and talked to Lucas last night, and the other gentleman, Mike, I think his name was, has not responded. Dave. Yeah, he hasn't responded yet. But I'm not expecting him to respond right away, so this might be something that he'll respond in time. So
Yeah.
thank you for those. Miss Eileen, how are you?
You're welcome.
I'm good. My new belt hasn't closed again.
Oh no, why?
Because it's just, I think this time it's just the lender. The lender, there was so the original lender moved or gave it to someone else, and the new guy, the new lender, is very, I don't know, I can't say a word, but he's not good in he's not good in keeping tracks with stocks. So I don't know. Hoping to close it today. Let's see.
Fingers crossed.
Yep.
I would be blowing them up, all kinds of stuff. So
Last night we have been since Friday, but it just everyone is getting frustrated and irritated, so I kind of just back off.
awesome. Hopefully it closes for you today. I'm sorry you're dealing with that. It's a pain in the ass. Morning, Dick Nichols.
Good morning, Big Dan.
Good morning, Donna.
Morning.
Good morning, Miss Mara.
Hi there.
How are you?
I'm okay, thank you.
Just okay.
Well, like Renee, I had a back injury the other day. Yeah.
Oh no.
The day before. So yesterday was mostly horizontal, working horizontal and back. So I'm glad to be vertical today and in much less pain.
I hope it resolves itself. Sorry to hear that you got hurt. Good morning, Mrs. Zach.
Good morning. I've had an eventful morning.
Well, tell us about it. Anything we can help with?
No, I had a burglar alarm on my house down in Georgia, but luckily I believe it was a squirrel trying to get in the window, not a person. So that's good.
Them squirrels.
We don't have that problem here.
Probably better to have a squirrel than have a cat burglar.
I would rather deal with squirrels than all the nuts that we have.
Yes. So I was very fortunate and happy. So.
Good morning, Mr. Larry.
Good morning.
How are you?
Really good. My listing went up an hour ago. It's had 27 views already.
That's awesome.
Great.
Nicole. How are you, Nicole?
I'm doing good. My listing, they sent out a HVAC guide today and a sewer scope. So We'll just wait on those last 2 inspections and then we'll see how it goes.
Excellent.
Happy belated birthday, Nicole.
My birthday? My birthday was like early this year.
Like,
Oh, I thought they just posted. Is there another Nicole that had a birthday on the Keller Williams site?
I don't know.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was you. Well, anyway, I was still late for your birthday back then, so happy belated birthday.
Well, thank you.
technically he's not wrong. But anyways, guys, what kind of things are you working on and want to express on today? I talked to an agent last night about doing some door knocking for their neighborhoods, and not might be a bad thing to do these days, but what are you doing right now to help generate some business leads for yourself?
Holes.
I'm prepping to talk to a whole lot of people on Saturday and Sunday coming through the house.
Yeah. What are you doing before then? Are you calling the neighbors in that neighborhood?
That'll be part of a project later today, you bet.
Okay. Some circle prospecting.
Yeah, there's, again, 6 houses in the last month up there sold in 5 days.
Right.
So it's
The good thing is
it's a hot spot.
It's a hot spot for sure. The good thing, hopefully we can find a buyer for it. Are you going to do door knocking or calling?
Probably a little both.
Okay. What script?
Invite me out at the end of the first open house on Saturday. I'll probably, depending on the heat, of course, maybe knock down the street, knock down a few doors, invite the locals to come over the next day.
Yeah, I always like doing, if you can, a little preview for the neighbors. Like if you're doing the open house between 1 and 4, knock on the doors in the morning to the neighbors and say, hey, I'm going to have an open house starting at 1 o'clock to 4, but for the neighbors, I'm going to let you guys in around 12 if you want to come check it out.
Yeah, interesting. Great idea. Thank you.
That's a good idea.
The feeling of being a VIP.
Yeah.
Even if you want to be bold enough and do it Friday night while they're coming home from work, because most people take off early on Friday so they get home for the weekend, so they're typically home around 4:35 versus 5:36.
Yeah, I'll see how the sellers is still moving some stuff around and finishing, touching up some paint, patch and paint spots on the walls and things like that. So they were pretty adamant about nobody in the house until Saturday morning.
Right.
But from Saturday into Sunday, for the second day Sunday, there's certainly because again I posted no offers until the end of the open house on Saturday, and then there again Sunday, and then we're reviewing offers Sunday night and responding Monday.
Yeah, so that's going to be good. I would have that conversation with the neighbors. It's you're doing a phone call if you can get their numbers through circle prospecting or knocking on the door. It's the same script. It's hey. If their name is on the list, hey, Larry, this is Dan Caldwell at Keller Williams, Southern Arizona. You probably don't know who I am. I actually have a home listed for sale in your neighborhood. We're doing an open house on. We've gotten a ton of traffic on the last couple that we've had in the neighborhood that sold. I wanted to invite you to a special open house that I've got just for the neighbors. You guys can come in a little early. It's going to be going between 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock on Saturday. If you'd like to come see it beforehand, I'll be there a little early to let the neighbors in, kind of do a preview without the mob. I want to warn you about the increase of traffic that's going to be in the neighborhood and not to be concerned.
I like that.
People really enjoy that phone call where you tell them the increase in traffic, don't be concerned. People park in front of your house, this is why. Like, it's really good. I mean, most people are smart enough to know that there's a yard sign, there's going to be an open house, but it's a way to make a conversation and create a friend.
Free beer is also a good sign to put out in the front yard, too.
Free beer tomorrow.
That would get some attention.
I'll be there.
Me too.
We'll all be there.
Good morning, Teresita. How are you?
I'm happy.
That's good.
I got an offer accepted.
High fives.
After 2 months and 10 beat ups.
How are we doing on your other lady that wants to sell her house and buy another one?
I'm gonna see it today, but I need the wording, so I'll get with you or with Wendy later.
What wording?
wording on what to put on the contingency.
You don't need to put anything on the contingency. It's got check boxes.
Okay. All right.
There's two different versions. One is contingent on being sold, being like it's not even listed, it doesn't have an offer, and the other one's contingent of closing. So you would just select the correct box when you're making an offer.
But
What are you talking about? Contingency of her selling her house is contingent upon
selling her house contingent, like what? How do you word that the seller needs time?
everybody knows the seller needs time. You guys get to control that. So you get a purchase offer for full price. It's going to give you a 30-day close. You need 45. You counter with 45-day close. If they don't accept it, you move on.
So that's where I'm not sure there. So I guess I need to straighten that out.
Let's straighten it out right now.
Straighten that out right now. Okay.
You're overthinking it.
Yes.
You're overthinking it. What happens if we have a seller that wants to buy another house, Larry? In this situation, what would you do? If you have a seller that wants to sell their house, but they want to buy another house, and what would you do?
As far as timelines?
No, just any of the structure.
In general. What would be the steps, Larry? I have a seller that needs to sell in order to buy.
No, right. First thing, you're into a contingency situation. But I mean, I'm sorry. I was in my head thinking of some things about my listing, and I didn't quite catch the setup to this whole thing. I'm sorry.
That's effectively it. She's got a seller that wants to sell her house and buy another one. For her to be able to qualify for the next house, has to sell the first one. We know there's going to be a buyer contingency on the sale. There is no setup on the listing. There is no setup anything yet. This is like the first meeting. She's worried that the seller wants to put something in writing that says the sale of the house is contingent upon her finding another house. My advice to that is that it's always contingent upon them finding another house.
Sure.
Because you control the contracts.
Yeah, so it's a conversation, obviously, with the seller that you're in that situation. So any offer that you're making is going to be contingent on the sale of your house. That's a tough one right now in this market because a lot of sellers aren't accepting contingencies because of how fast things are moving. So they're not going to take their property off the market for 2-3 weeks only to find out that your buyer can't get the house sold in time for the meeting the contract, so on. I think you have to kind of you have to have that conversation with the seller that once we have a contract on your house, yeah, there's a contingency, but the fact that there's a contract and a good pre-qualifying and all that stuff will put you in position to contend for the next for a purchase for your house that you're going to go to.
Let me understand this. You got a listing. The house has just got under contract, and your seller is saying, "I want to wait until I find another house." I would be saying, "Let's get in my car now, or let's sit in front of the computer, and if you snooze, you lose. We're going to find you a house right now." That's the answer. Am I missing something here?
No, those are two different clients. So I have a seller. I have a client that it's a seller, wants to sell her house. Yeah. And she wants to buy another house. She wants to move out of the house she's in right now.
Okay, have her call me.
There you go. There you go. So she needs to sell, but she needs a house to get in. She knows that she might be homeless for a little bit.
Well,
Could happen to her. But she has 4 kids and she's pregnant. So I'm trying to what will be the flow with her, Yeah,
Well, the flow is this, Teresita. One, you get a listing contract signed. In that listing contract, you just have a conversation with her that she controls the purchases of her home. Now, the only way that she's going to be able to qualify to buy another house is to get this house sold. And the steps to do so is going to be list her house on the open market. Now, at the exact same time, you get the listing agreement signed, you get a buyer broker agreement signed, and you start looking for her a new home. You are going to go through the process of getting her house listed, photographs, getting it cleaned up, getting it touched up, and make sure it's nice and pretty to market. So you're going to give yourself a week or so to get it live. In that week or so, you're still going to go out there shopping for houses. If you find the perfect house, you're going to write an offer on that house, and you're going to write an offer with an active contingency on there. So the buyer is contingent upon the sale of their house, and you'll have the conversation with the listing agent of that home that says that your buyer has a house that they are selling that you are getting ready for market. The price range is at, the price point it's at, the days on market in the area that you're looking for, ensuring that the house will actually be under contract well before any of the contingencies are an issue to the new seller. And you just help navigate a dual closing with your buyer-seller situation. Guess what? This is what they call the advanced level of real estate. The number one thing you need to do is stay calm. You wear your emotions on your sleeve and you project them. Guess what? Your seller is going to read that. They're going to read that and not have the confidence in the situation. Be professional. Gary Keller says that he's a professional. What does that mean to you?
Make money.
Confident, for one thing, and know what you're doing. From the confidence comes out.
It's very simple. Write this down. A professional knows what they know, knows what they don't know, and the difference between the two. What does that mean? It means that I know what I know, and I will give you the answers that I know from tried and trusted true education and experience. If I do not know, I will find the answer for you. Nobody knows everything. And if they do, they're probably not a very good salesperson.
I learned that with this offer accepted yesterday, because you know how everybody's putting outrageous offers on houses that we know they might not value. So I put an honest, realistic offer, and I asked for concessions, honestly, and it was given to us. It was like, oh wow, like what I was missing, like doing what the other people is doing. And I noticed that the more experienced agent seller you come up to, they will accept more down to earth offers.
I had an offer on a house that was listed. We had multiple offers on it. We countered back 2 of them. One of them said, no, we're not going to go that high. We rejected it. The second one was still thinking about it. In the meantime, a third offer came in with a letter. The other 2 did not have letters. The third one came in with a letter in a simple offer. Market value, no closing costs, home warranty. The others were very graduated, like discounts, closing costs, but the fact is we had a counter out that would have netted the seller more money. They got that letter. They liked that the agent was thorough, was marketable, and didn't try to play any games like let's increase the sales price 100% and then try to just sneak it by, and then we'll reduce it at the appraisal time. And my seller was like, you know what? Let's cancel the other counter and take this offer. So don't think because there's already a counter out that you shouldn't submit your offer. It just needs to be done and flawless in execution. Pre-qual was completely filled out, having all documents to the lender. They had a letter explaining the situation on the buyers, and they had every documentation we're going to need for the transaction. So it was just a professional letter. It was professional offer. It was a professional email from the other agent. And my seller was all, yeah, cancel the other counter. We'll take this one.
Wow.
I was all, okay. Called the other agent, said, hey, where are we at on that counter? He's like, well, my buyers are still thinking about it. I was okay. And then 5 minutes later, I had to call him back and say, hey, by the way, my sellers just redacted that counter. They're going to take their offer. Thank you so much for your time. Like,
Do you need to put something in writing when you do that, Dan?
an email.
Because we didn't have a counter out, but we had a similar situation. The my seller just decided it was a slightly lower offer, but it was conventional and it was, clean. And rather than someone had a VA that had upped it like over 10,000 over asking, and they were like, what if it doesn't appraise? And they weren't going to go for that. So.
I think that's a good sign, because it's crazy how much people are offering way over the asking price in these bidding wars, and then the appraisal comes in and then you got a mess.
You know, I'm the mindset, like, if you want 220 out of the house, put the damn thing up for 220. Don't market it for 198 and get a bidding war.
Mm-hmm.
That just annoys people.
Yeah.
If you want 220, market that shit for 220. If you want 225 and the market stands for 225, put it up for 225.
Yeah. The appraisals are coming in higher now. They really are.
Yeah, they're starting to. They're starting to realize that the sales price is the starting point of the negotiation.
Got it. So, price it right. If you're going to list a house, price it right. And then you can always go down.
Yeah.
But you may even go up.
You start getting offers above list price, start looking for cash. Cash buyer? Yeah. Ching, done.
But Larry, I'll tell you, with most of these mortgage companies are getting things done in 30 days. Movement is doing that. I mean, I know they are. And so I say to my clients, well, cash buyer means you get your money up maybe a little faster. But if I get you more and it's a conventional mortgage and it's done in a week later, what do you want? Cash is not, cash is no longer king.
Well, no, what I'm referring to is a cash deal. You get outside of the appraisal. In other words, you get by without the appraisal, or
that's true.
Do one, but regardless.
Yeah. But by the way, I've been burned twice in the last year, and I'll never be burned again, where I have a out-of-state client come in or, place the offer through the realtor. And then a week later they come in after we've accepted the offer and said no. And I'm telling everybody now, unless you come in and unless a buyer comes in and sees the house or they do a video or whatever, we're not going to accept the offer.
Yeah, we actually have one of our agents, the PC program, has got a deal. Ohio buyers coming in, and the agent says that they will not accept offers from out-of-state clients unless they have viewed the property or they make the earnest money non-refundable.
Mm-hmm.
Or the what?
They make the earnest money non-refundable. So, yes, Stormy.
What do you do, or what is it that we can do to more protect our seller, because the buyers are coming in now and they're doing exactly that. They're offering these large, over asking prices and then canceling, dude, because like I had one where the realtor came in, threw in an offer that it was a nice offer. We accepted it, and then the next day she asked me, well, does it have polybutylene? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I look it up on the spuds. I looked up on the spuds. The seller was unaware of it. She says, well, we just decided to cancel. And I'm like, well, but the thing is,
right to do so.
But all the information is there for her before she ever made her offer. It's just like they're throwing these offers out there for nothing. Yeah.
They're wasting time. The problem is it's uneducated. Now because of that situation, Stormy, they're 100% within their right to do so. What do you get in every purchase situation, right? Unless it's negotiated out, it's the inspection period, the due diligence. My response to that is, if someone asked me, does it have polybutylene, I would say I'm unaware. If I know, then I would say it was listed in the SPDS.
Well, if you knew, it'd be in the spud, and you would say that.
It'd be disclosed. But the thing is the buyer's agents out there right now, and some of you guys are buyer's agents, we need to be a little bit more professional in our approaches of things and having these things hedged out beforehand. The problem is that there's such a feeding frenzy right now that's been created, and we're perpetuating it. I'm not saying I want to slow it down or I want to change it. I just want to make us a little bit more prepared to be successful and win these situations. Because nothing's more frustrating than losing out on an offer for a house that's perfect for your client because some other J-hole from another state came in and gave, you know, 10,000 over your ask, which was 10,000 over list, only to find out a month later that it got canceled because the appraisal didn't come in. So are we having realistic conversations with our sellers and saying, this is the market on your house? All comps, all information show that it's worth $220,000. Let's get it sold for $220,000. We take an offer at $235,000. They are excited. They've already checked out. They've already cashed that $15,000 bonus, right? But then we get the appraisal comes in at $217,000. Are we fighting a $18,000 difference or are we fighting a $3,000 difference? Unfortunately, you're fighting an $18,000 difference because they, as a seller, saw that number and cashed the check.
Yeah, but as a selling agent, wouldn't you talk to your clients and say, listen, we gave a good price for your house. Just because somebody comes in doesn't mean the house is going to appraise for that. So don't get too excited, because if it doesn't appraise for you to continue with that offer, you either have to drop the price down or risk losing the buyer.
Right. It's all about managing.
Everybody have that conversation?
I would hope you do now. I'd hope you have conversations with your buyers too. What happens if it doesn't appraise?
Yeah,
my house didn't appraise.
Yeah.
I always tell them that the last thing you're going to do if it doesn't appraise is shoot your realtor, because it's not the realtor's fault if it doesn't appraise. He's going to give you that. The realtor should give you good advice. But if you decide you want to ask for more than what the damn thing's worth, well, that's on you. I'm kind of a tough guy when it comes to my clients.
I would rather have somebody tell me like it is and then try to placate it. So I want you to have great experiences with your clients, and I want you to have the best experiences you possibly can. It all comes from setting up the expectations up front. Right. Well, we have a come to Jesus talk, especially with the buyers, I tell them up front, this is a weird time. Now you got to get in your mind, you want to win the house of your dreams or you want to lose it? How bad do you want to win a house? And that's because if you snooze, you lose. And there's only 1,400 or less houses on the market now, other than new home builds. But I can put you in new home builds too. So, Yeah, I think that's one conversation we need to start having a lot more with people, is that, you know what, I can help you find a house if you're looking for a new build too. We are just in a world where these damn first-time buyers. What are you doing? This is me throwing up my arms in hope for a better day. That need to buy in 180 to 200,000. Oh my God. That is like 90% of the people out there right now. Can you find a new build for that much?
Nope.
Low
end is unless you're either way out in the sticks, or low end is right around, I think 230 right now. It's about as low as you're going to get on anything new build.
Right. The closest I found is 217 as a starting point over at Escalante and Camino Seco area. Mm-hmm. Plus, that's just the house. What's the lot? 6,000, 7,000, 8,000? Yeah. So now you're at 225. Plus you got, God forbid you want one extra thing. There's 40 grand. So.
Or what if you want utilities like water or sewer?
So.
We got to have fun with this. And if we explain it honestly with our clients, whether it be buyers or sellers, and get them to at least understand that it's a serious business, but you got to have fun with it. And if you don't work with me, then we're going to have a problem. I mean, I'd rather be really tough up front where they really want to work with me than get somebody who's kind of loosey-goosey, because they'll drive you nuts. And I'm too old to be driven nuts. I'm already there because you used the word squirrel earlier in our conversation today. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Yeah. The freaking squirrel, yes.
I have a question.
I have an answer.
I know you always do. On affixed mobile homes. So is it just cash, or can they do a conventional with, was it Fairway Homes, I think does?
If it's a fixed, which means tied down to the ground and they own the dirt underneath it, you can do FHA. You can do conventional. You can do VA or USDA if it's outside of jurisdictions.
Yeah.
It just has to be, affixed, meaning tied down.
Yeah, it's certified.
Properly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's it.
certification of being affixed. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that's
can do
that.
the full gauntlet. Just if it's outside of jurisdictions, check for USDA loans too. And they don't like mobile homes, but they'll do them.
Okay. Yeah, it's out in the county, Cochise County.
Yeah.
You're
The
supposed to
only
call
time
it
I've
a
ever asked
manufactured
for
home, though.
Yeah, manufactured home. Thank you, Jason. We don't call them mobiles. They're not mobile anymore.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, so there are some great deals out there for manufactured homes, and a lot of people turn up their noses on it. But all of a sudden, you find a property with 3 or 4 acres of land and a 2,000 square foot manufactured house that's fixed to the property with a pole barn, and people fall in love with that, and they sell quickly.
If anyone knows of someone selling just a manufactured house, double wide, 3-bedroom, just the house itself, let me know. I got a buyer that's looking for just one they can put on their own land.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be honest. I live in a manufactured home community, and I love it. I've got a beautiful 2,300 square foot, ground level with everything you can imagine, and it's great. And I got a mobile cat, I got a mobile dog, and a mobile wife, and a mobile phone.
Do you live in Mobile, Alabama?
Pull a $20 bill down the street.
All right. Anybody else got anything before we're going to sign off? I got Ignite starting in 30 minutes. If you guys are doing the blood drive at KLP, I'm sorry they canceled it. You should have gotten a text message already. They're having a problem with the cooling of the blood van. Other than that, it is Thursday, August 20th, and I believe today is a great day to be an agent here at Keller Williams, Southern Arizona. Go out there and do something great.
God bless you all.
Thanks.
Hey, Larry, good luck on selling your house.
Thank you kindly.